On the remote world of Tarvuli, the mighty Graven Empire has fallen into ruin, destroyed by an alien force whose presence threatens cosmic balance. Book 1 of The Balance Wars by Robert C Littlewood is called Deviance, and as you might expect, its action takes place in a galaxy far, far away. Here's the prologue. Gratish was a farmer whose life was hanging by a thread. Not that Gratish had any inkling that this was the case. On the contrary, all he knew from his race memories was that his clan had always been farmers. He was in no doubt that this would continue for as long as the empire stood. Gratish grew terax, an innocuous legume that was difficult to grow but had the advantages of being high in protein, easily transportable, and tasty on the palate. It could be prepared in a variety of ways, so was a foodstuff in demand, and Gratish was a genius at growing it, a skill he had inherited from his sire. Here, in the vassal state of Grundesh, at the western extreme of the Graven Empire, he had become moderately wealthy, as the quality of his crop and the regularity of its supply to surrounding areas underpinned his success. He sat quietly in his favourite chair after a long day in the fields and over a beaker of brandy, musing about the ripening crop and its impending harvest. So successful had he been in his own modest way that he had been given permission to mate with Fronta, a member of the Xernish clan, somewhat higher in station than his own. In the rigid caste system of the empire, this was a notable achievement, and he and Fronta had spawned 4 offspring, 2 males and 2 females, for whom he had high hopes. Now they were all asleep as the night stretched on. Something had drawn Gratish from his rest, and he had sat sipping brandy for some time when the sky above him suddenly lit with an eerie glow. He rushed outside and was able to observe a long fiery tail arcing across the sky above him. The light rapidly diminished and was followed by a faint tremble in the earth beneath his feet. A sudden increase in light flared up momentarily afterwards and then died away. Whatever it was, it had apparently hit the ground somewhere to the west of his lands. Hearing the door open behind him, he saw that Fronta, his mate, had awakened from slumber and was now peering at him through the gloom of the evening. "What was that, Gratish? I dreamt of some creature flying above me, and then a flash of light woke me up." "I'm not sure, Fronta, but I don't think it came to rest too far away. Let this morning sleep, and I will go and investigate. Perhaps there may be some profit in it for us." Fronta smiled. "You rascal, ever thinking of profit? Yes, away with you, but be careful. You may be a commoner, but you are my commoner, and I will not have harm befall you." Gratish smiled in return. He felt the familiar sense of affection and shared purpose which had grown up between them, and he knew he had been fortunate in being allowed to mate with Fronta, and more so that she had later agreed to cohabit with him. Preparing him a pack with some food and water, Fronta waved farewell as he jogged off into the night. Gratish was not old by Graven measures, but he was not young either, and he was smugly proud when, after 4 childless steady progress, with barely a raised heart rate, he reached the area where he perceived the light had first blazed up. Around him, the landscape was rugged. Here, at the western fringes of the empire, it was semi-arid, and rain came unpredictably. Perfect for terax growing, but not so good for people wanting to make a living in other ways. He noticed a glow that grew stronger as he pushed past some stunted pendle ferns that grew around the area. Finally, he came to a crater which radiated heat, and in the middle of which sat a spherical, metallic-looking object, easily the size of a house. Cautiously he edged forward. The details of the object were hard to discern, and Gratish stopped when he had closed to only some 50 span from the object. Finally, he could see that the skin of the object pulsed with a strange kind of luminescent light that flickered over its surface. A warning voice screamed inside Gratish's head at the folly of approaching so closely to such an unknown object, particularly as the nearest Empire garrison was 2 days' journey away. But as always with Gratish, the lure of profit conquered any rational thinking. The sound of something sliding across the ground behind him brought all of Gratish's thoughts to one focused point. The tendrils on his neck flared red in alarm, and his breathing became rapid and shallow as he turned. What he saw was beyond his comprehension, utterly alien, black in aspect, covered with fetid slime. Gratish stood rooted to the spot in terror, and his bowels voided as the thing approached him. He could find no voice to call out, and in the last few moments of his life, his mind filled with the precious images of his mate and spawnlings. His last conscious thought was that they, and the whole of the Graven Empire, were doomed.
Hi, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more readings and author interviews. And don't forget to hit that button to be notified every time we post new content.